So here is the skirt, and then we have these two pieces that we can drape on the side. So I will just secure this one here. Use a safety pin and it just falls. Let's change the top. So here we have both sides hooked, and you can form a bow. So we want to form a bow, right? You've tied it this way. You take the two parts together this way, right? And then you just form a bow. This is what we're having, right? So what do you think about this? Something you're going to wear or not? And remember, we can just remove this away and wear only the skirt. So let's do that. So this is the bow. I can remove this and wear only the skirt. I absolutely love the pink. You can't even tell me. I've ironed the fabric neatly and it is on full. The next thing we're going to do is measure the length of the skirt we're working with. So for the length of the skirt, we're making the skirt 22 inches in total. We're going to be putting a waistband of 1 inch, that's 23 inches. So after measuring this, I'm seeing that I'm having 22.5 inches. If I put a waistband of 1 inch, it's going to be 23.5 inches. So that means I'm going to be using 1.5 inch for my hem at the bottom for it to um, come short to 22 inches exactly. However, the waistband will not be cut on this. It's still going to be cut on this fabric. So these are the measurements we're working with. The waist measurement we're working with is 36 inches. When we divide 36 by 4, we're going to be having 9 inches. This is our 9 inches here. We're going to use 1 inch for the dart along the waist, and then we're going to use 2 inches for the hem. The next thing we're going to do is take the waist to hip measurement. I'm using 8 inches for my waist to hip measurement because remember 1 inch for my dart. I could even use 7 inches for my waist to hip measurement, but let's use 8 inches. You can take that measurement on your body. Just take from your waist to your hip. Now along that line, that's going to be like a horizontal line. Now along that horizontal line, place your measuring tape, and we're going to take a quarter of our hip measurement. That's divided by 4. The hip measurement we're working with is 46 inches. When we divide that by 4, we're going to be having 11.5 inches. So this is where 11.5 inches is. And then if we add 2 inches to 11.5, we'll be having this right here. All right, the next measurement we're going to be putting on the skirt will be for the hem. For the hem, I will just remove ½ inch from whatever I have on the hip line. So while I put my measuring tape on the hip line, I'm having about 13.5 inches right there. That is right there. So let's go ahead to join up these lines. So join the waist to the hip, and then we'll join the hip to the hem. This is where the waistline will be. So for the front, what we're going to do is reduce this by ½ inch. So when I measure ½ inch here, I'm then going to connect my ½ inch. The purpose of this is just to reduce, like to help with the tummy area, to make it sit well along the tummy area. That's why we lower it there. So let's cut this out. For the back skirt, what we're going to do is I'm going to just add, it's going to maintain this same measurement, but for the back I'll just add 1.5 inch here for the zipper allowance. You can do 2 inches, 1.5, 1 inch, depending on how much material you have left. So me, I'll just be using 1.5 inch along that part. Okay, so here we have the front skirt piece and we have the back skirt piece. I've split it into two. So what we want to do for this back now is we are going to shape the hem area so that the skirt doesn't hang out this way. Like, how do I explain it? So that it gives you the shape and sits the way it should sit. So we're just going to shape it at the bottom area there, and we'll just be shaping that area by, we can do 3/4 or 1 inch. Okay, so we're going to take this measurement, this 1/2 inch, and we're going to connect it to the hip line. Okay, so my hip line, we used, let me use 9 inches. I'm going to use 9 inches at the back here, about here, and I'll just connect. So from here, we can now measure the 1.5 zip allowance, okay, which is just here. So since I can see the iron line here, I'll just continue, just draw the line from that 1.5 to meet up with the iron line there. Yeah, so it helped to shape the skirt. You're shaping the skirt here, we're shaping the skirt here. So for the lining, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this. I'm going to iron this back piece, okay, according to the 1.5 inch mark there, which is here. I'm going to iron the zipper allowance closed, iron this one too closed, and then the lining will start from this place to this place. So whatever measurement I have from here, let's see. So from here to just here. I hope you understand what I mean. And then I'll put 1/2 inch for the sewing allowance. My lining width will be here. Same thing here and there. So that's what I'm going to do for the kind of closure I want to have on this skirt. So okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just mark up the darts. Let's put a dart on the skirt. From this point, I'm using 4 inches for my darts, and then I'm going to put 1/2 inch on both sides. The dart length will be 6 inches long. Okay, so I'm just going to draw. Let's still make sure that we have 4 inches here as well. Yes. So I'm going to transfer this dart to the left side or the right side of the front part of the skirt, and then to the two back pieces. How do you transfer? You can use your pins, put your pin in here. You can also snip the dart legs. That's the two dart legs here. Snip it and then put your pin through so you know exactly where it should end for all of them. Alright, so let's go right ahead to cutting the lining, preparing the waistband, and then start to sew the skirt up. Okay, so we have our skirt already cut. I have the front skirt and I've put in the darts across all the others. If you can see clearly, I've drawn the triangular part of the dots. Okay. I have the lining also cut. For the lining, you can decide to make it 1 inch shorter than the main skirt, okay, or 2 inches shorter. So mine is about an inch short, okay. And then I have the waistband. So, because I'm going to be folding it this way, so I cut 3 inches wide for my waistband, 3 inches wide, such that when I fold it into two, it becomes 1.5 inch. And for the 1.5 inch, we are going to be sewing 1/2 inch into the waist of the skirt. Okay, so that's about it. We'll just start sewing them up now. First thing I'm going to do is sew up the darts of all the skirt pieces, sew up all the darts, and then we move on to installing the zipper. Okay, alright guys, so at this stage we have sewn up the darts, we have prepared the waistband and fused an interfacing in there. I just cut a rectangular strip for the waistband, okay, to the length of my skirt, that's the waist, as well as installed the zipper at the back. I fused interfacing in here just to make it sturdy, you know. Sometimes when you use Ankara fabric or some types of fabric, the zipper area kind of rips. So this one helps to stabilize the fabric from ripping, you know. And then this is the slit area, just about 4 inches or 5 inches long, depending on you. Okay, and here is the lining part of the skirt. We have the two back lining pieces, sewn up the darts too as well, and then we have the front part of the lining. Okay, so we'll just go right ahead to start joining up on the sides. That's the main skirt, as well as installing the waistband of this skirt. Alright guys, so I couldn't resist the temptation. I had to make 2 skirts. These skirts are so beautiful. I couldn't resist it. I made a pink one and a green one. I just want to give you a quick view. Along the waistline, I put elastic because the intention is this skirt should be like you can order for the skirts if you are interested. This is how it looks on the inside with the hem and the sides. Well done, well put together, and then the waistband beautifully done as well. So what we want to do now is to show you how we're going to do the drape on the sides, like the addition on the side. So I took 2 pieces, rectangular pieces of fabric, took 2 rectangular pieces of fabric from the same material, okay, just cut it from one self edge to the other, and I've gone ahead to iron it, so to just form like an accordion plate here. So I cut 1 strip I will be sewing this, not even sewing, it's going to be like detachable, putting this along the side seam here, and the other one will be here, so that you can tie, or you can remove it if you do not want this. You can remove it from the skirt, so it's detachable, and just wear the skirt that way. Okay, that's the idea. So I'm just going to put in the drape on the side, and then we can wrap this up. Yeah, remember I said it's like a transformer skirt where you can put the drape on or remove it if you do not want the drape. So I have this part here. You just sew it into the skirt. It's not even visible. Then look at this one. This one is the other part, right? So there's one up here. There's one here. This is where the third one is. I'm going to show you how it was sewn. I'm now going to sew like a fastening. The fastening I'm going to sew is like a hook, but the one you see in bras, the one that is used for bras. This one is bigger. This one is big for that hook. So you're just going to sew the fastening to this drape here, to this ironed plate, and then it fastens into there. Okay, you fasten, but we're going to use the hook one, right? So we'll put one here, the other one here, and the third one to fasten that place, so it falls this way. All right, so let's quickly plan out where it's going to be. I'm going to put the skirts together, waistbands matching up. It's going to be along that side seam there. Match them up perfectly. So this is where this one starts and stops. You see the other one here. So if you look closely, the other one is here. Let me just pull it up so we can recognize it. This is where the other one is, right? I don't know if you can see that black thread, right? So we're going to put the other on the left side or on the right side. Mark it as well. And then finally, the last one. So we're going to mark it, transfer it here and here. So now we can do the sewing. First thing you do, I move the lining out of the way, knot your thread, that's thread your needle and knot it, and I'm going to pass it through from the inside. Okay, once I pass it through, I secure that end, so and secure it to stay in place. Once it stays in place, then form a loop to the other side, that's where the end will be, and then just sew, right? So if you look closely, you can see it this way, but don't let it be that wide so it doesn't start falling off, but create room for it. I don't know if this is visible at all. I don't know if what I'm doing is visible. I'm supposed to use a different color so that it's visible. Once I'm done with that, then I start to thicken the thread, because if you just leave it at those two strands, it may rip off. So just go through the thread like this way. So this is it here. Go through, that's put your thread and go through it. Just give it more strand, more thickness, like to thicken it. That one will now make the cord thick. And so when you're putting your drape part, when you're putting the drape part, it stays put. So now you can secure the other end of the thread through the fabric, right? So that's it. The intention is to use a bra hook, right? That's why. If I was to use this one, if I was to use this kind of fastener, let's see, will it enter in there? Okay, it did. It entered. It entered, but I want to use a bra hook anyway. If your intention is to use that type, then it's fine. Just measure it, like eyeball it and measure it. There we have it. Once I'm done, I'm going to hem the bottom of the skirt. And yeah, that is about it for this video. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please do not forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Also subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. I would love to read from you. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Was it easy? Was it simple and straightforward? Or what will you change about this? Do you like this design? And yeah, please don't forget to patronize your girl. You've gone through the making process. You can see how it's made with love, and with so much attention to detail. So you can always order via my Instagram page. And yeah, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Stay safe. God bless you all. Bye. I love the pink one. Yeah. Looks so good. And we can put that same design right here, or just wear it this way. Let me know what you think.